A quiet, reflective man speaking slowly and clearly. You need to do something important. You want to do it, but you can't. And the worst part? You feel like it's your fault, like something in you is just broken. But what if I told you you're not lazy, you're just protecting yourself from something you haven't named yet? Let's start with what's really happening. You sit down to work. Maybe it's a project, a conversation you need to have, a decision you've been delaying. Your body tenses. Your mind finds 100 other things to do. Suddenly, reorganizing your desk feels urgent. Psychologists call this task aversion, but that term doesn't capture it, because it's not the task you're avoiding. It's the feeling the task might create. Here's what most people don't understand about procrastination. It's not a time management problem. It's an emotion regulation problem. Dr. Tim Pitchell, a leading researcher on procrastination, found that we don't avoid hard tasks. We avoid how hard tasks make us feel. Anxiety, uncertainty, shame, fear of failing, fear of not being enough. Your brain is designed to move you away from threat, and if a task feels threatening, even if it's not physically dangerous, your limbic system treats it like it is. This is the amygdala, the brain's alarm system. It doesn't distinguish between a lion in the wild and a blank document that could reveal you're not as smart as people think. To your amygdala, both are danger. So it does what it's built to do. It activates avoidance, scrolling, snacking, cleaning, daydreaming, anything to get you away from the perceived threat. And here's the trap. Every time you avoid, you get a hit of relief. That relief is rewarding. So your brain learns this task equals bad feeling, avoidance equals relief, and the cycle deepens. But here's the reframe. You're not broken. You're not weak-willed. You're experiencing something called amygdala hijack, a term coined by psychologist Daniel Goleman, when the emotional brain overpowers the logical brain. And it happens to everyone, especially to people who care deeply, especially to people who've been criticized or who hold themselves to impossible standards. Your avoidance isn't laziness, it's a defense mechanism. Your brain is trying to protect you from a feeling it believes you can't handle. So, let's talk about what's actually underneath. Procrastination researcher Dr. Joseph Ferrari identified 3 core subtypes: arousal seekers, who wait until the last minute for the adrenaline rush; avoiders, who fear judgment or failure; and decisional procrastinators, who are paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong choice. Most of us are avoiders. We're not avoiding the work, we're avoiding the evaluation, the possibility that we'll try our best and it still won't be good enough. Psychologists call this fear of self-awareness. You don't want to confront the gap between who you are and who you think you should be. So you delay, because as long as you haven't tried, you haven't failed. Now, here's how you work with your brain instead of against it. Before you start the task, pause. Ask yourself, what am I actually afraid will happen if I do this? Not what should happen, what your nervous system believes will happen. Maybe it's, I'll realize I'm not smart enough. People will judge me. I'll confirm that I've wasted time. Name it. Out loud if you can. Because when you name an emotion, you activate the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for reasoning and regulation. Neuroimaging shows labeling emotions reduces amygdala activation. You're literally calming the alarm. Your brain avoids big, vague, emotionally loaded tasks. So don't start there. Start absurdly small. Not write the essay. Open the document. Not have the hard conversation. Write one sentence about how you feel. Behavioral psychologist B.J. Fogg calls this the minimum viable action, the smallest step that still moves you forward. And here's why it works. Action reduces anxiety, even tiny action, because it gives your brain evidence that the threat isn't real. This is the hardest one, but also the most important. You are not your work. You are not your productivity. You are not the grade, the promotion, the approval. Psychologist Carol Dweck's research on growth mindset shows people who see failure as information rather than identity recover faster, try more, and ultimately achieve more. So, before you begin, say this: this task is an experiment, not a referendum on my worth. You've been taught to avoid discomfort, but discomfort isn't danger, it's just sensation. Dr. Kristen Neff's work on self-compassion shows that people who can tolerate discomfort without self-criticism are far more likely to follow through. So when the feeling comes, the tightness, the dread, the urge to run, stay, just for 10 seconds. Breathe into it, notice it, and remind yourself, this feeling won't hurt me. It's just my brain being cautious. Your brain learns through reinforcement, so reinforce the behavior you want, not the outcome. Did you open the document? That's a win. Did you write one bad sentence? That's a win. Did you show up even though you were scared? That's the win. Because your brain is tracking. I did the thing I was afraid of, and I survived. And every time you do that, the pathway gets stronger. Let's bring it all together. You're not lazy. Your nervous system is trying to protect you from a feeling it thinks you can't handle. But you can. Here's the mental model. It's not the fire, it's the warning. And the warning is usually about something underneath. So instead of hating yourself for the alarm, thank it. Then ask, what are you trying to protect me from? And then do the thing anyway. Not because you're fearless, but because you're willing to feel fear and act regardless. That's where growth lives, not in the absence of resistance, but in the willingness to meet it. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're right where you need to be. Now go. One small step, just one.